Las Vegas is once again treated with the talents of Jack Jones, now at the Dunes Hotel, packing them in, standing room only. It's good having you on the show, Jack. You'd make your trip to Vegas once or twice a year?
Yeah, about twice, I guess.
It must be a second home, if not a first home.
Well, I've been coming here for years, and it is like a second home. I have a lot of friends here, and I kind of, when Kim and I come here, we usually take a place that's not in the hotel, and we live like normal people, and we have a lot of friends and hang out.
Jack spoke of Kim. That's his beautiful, marvelous wife. She is fabulous. She's an English girl.
Yeah, she's an English girl.
Did you have to go across the ocean to find her? Or did
oh, did I ever?
You did?
Yeah, it wasn't England either. It was Bahrain, a little island.
Is that France or?
No, it's a little island in the Middle East. It's right now. It's just south of all of what's going on right now.
War and fighting.
And it's a lovely island, and it's the weather just exactly like here in Las Vegas, maybe a little hotter.
Ooh.
And it's quite a place. Very interesting.
And
I met her there. I was going through there on a little tour that I did, and of a few of the places. One of them was Kuwait, which I wouldn't be touring now.
No.
So there I was, and there we met. It was love at first sight, and it really was. It was like that, and my life was changed from that moment on for the better. And then we went back, and as just a couple of people just visiting her friends, and I had a good time.
You went back, how long ago was that?
About a year or so ago, we went back.
And when did you first meet?
We first met, almost, it seemed like 4 years ago, I guess it was.
Well, she's very charming, and it really makes you realize how important...
She saved my life.
Literally, or?
Well, mentally.
Got it,
Yeah.
Well, it just goes to show you, because she really is very, very charming, and she can only enhance, I think, your fame and fortune, and I just think it's a great thing, because sometimes you see the marriage where you feel they're pulling each other apart, you know.
Yeah. Well,
emotionally, philosophically, and it's sort of a sad thing to see that. Where I see it's such a warm...
This business can pull you apart, and that's an old cliche, and that's been said so many times, but it can pull you apart if you're not strong, if you haven't got a strong foundation. And there are a lot of people in this business who have stayed together. Stars, Stephen Eady, have stayed together all these years. People who are in show business but aren't necessarily stars. I have a lot of friends in that category who have been very well-respected entertainers who have stayed together, made a life of it.
I think, Jack, you know, because of your father, Alan, who's appearing with you at the Dunes, that you've been exposed to this business and maybe some of the trials and tribulations of the business and the family, and being the son of a famous singer. You probably got a head start as far as...
Well, I have nobody to blame but myself if I complain about the business, because I had a good look at it before I went into it, and I saw what my father went through, all the traveling he did. And you really do have to be a gypsy and just keep traveling if you want to enjoy the moments of entertaining people. And that really is a gift that you mustn't take lightly. You know, you have a gift. You are able to entertain people and make them happy. The other side of it is that usually they're on vacation and you're not. And, you know, they're having a good time, whoopee, and you're just working away.
Well, I think of the showbiz kids in general, and you must have grown up with a lot of them, and I don't see all of them turning out as great as you have, Jack. You know, you've established yourself as a great star in your own right, and I wonder how many, you must know sons and daughters of famous parents. Not all of them turn out the way you
Well, have. No, I knew, see, I really haven't been close to too many of them. I know a good friend of mine is Frank Sinatra Jr., and of course Nancy I went to school with. She's still working with her dad here and there, but she's a wife and has a family, and she's more interested in that, I think, than hitting the road, you know. Other than that, most of the other people I don't know that well. Liza I know. Liza's made a wonderful success of her life, and you wouldn't have thought that she could follow her mother like that.
Gotcha.
And she's very similar to her mother, and she's very emotional, but that works for her, and the public loves that.
Well, that's sort of my point, though. You can't, even on one hand, you really can't, there aren't even really that many who have really gone on and established themselves what you have, which I think you should be given credit for. I think sometimes you have a double, I don't know, barrier to get through because of the famous parent and coming up and all that, almost like you have to prove something, etc., whereas somebody who hasn't doesn't really have those additional factors.
Well, I didn't follow the same line as my father. I took a different approach to show business than he did. He was a legit operatic type of performer, and that was very big in the day that he was a big star. And but I went another direction.
Mm-hmm. Before we get into your show at the Dunes, which is I'm sure is excellent because your dad's in it as well as you, which just adds to it. I had to ask Jack to bring his little piece of machinery here. I tell you what, this is into the computer technology, so Jack's going to have to explain this to you, but it looks like an aid of whatever you want. If you want to tap into the industrial center of our country or our military center.
No,
you must have war games. You
like
must have seen that. Tell us about this.
Well, this is just it's a hobby, and it's also something that I use. It's very practical for me. It's also, we mentioned, the strong foundation of a marriage. If you get too heavy into these things, your marriage can suffer because you don't look up from it. You just keep programming away because it's fascinating. And to write a program, you and I were talking about this the other day, and so I just brought this in for the heck of it. To write a program I have a program that's for keeping score for rummy. That's just a silly program I wrote, and we use when we're playing cards. Keeps you from having to write out the score. And it adds all the like 4 players. Mm-hmm. It knows their names. It keeps adding up the score and printing out on this printer here what the score is. And then at the end, if we play 500 rummy, at the end of 500, it automatically knows who wins, says who wins, and prints out how much each other player owes that person who won.
Is it basically a personal computer?
Yeah, that's what it basically is. And
but it also has, excuse me, go ahead, Jack.
This is like for a simple program like that, and they get much longer than this, but you have to sit down and write all this out.
All of that out.
And figure it out. And it's just a marvelous puzzle, and that's the trap.
But what's so neat about this, you've got a micro cassette.
Yeah, for storage, data storage. And it's got a word processor in there and plugs into a big printer, and you can write correspondence or whatever and edit it and then print it out.
Well, you know, we were briefly talking about the Consumer Electronics Show. Now, I think the next one's coming in about a month or two. They have these twice a year here in Las Vegas, and I get to them every year, and I also have guests, but it's mind-boggling. You are tapped into it, I can see, extremely well.
There's also a phone modem where you can go into you can subscribe to a service that has the main computer is in Ohio, and you can get all kinds of information. You get airline schedules. You can get, you just type in when you want to leave, where you want to go, and it give you the whole schedule. So you know before you call the travel agent, you know what's going on. But there's so many things you can learn from it.
Yeah. When did you get attracted to this?
Oh, about 3 years ago.
Just seeing it on TV, commercials, or knowing about it, or
got curious and got into it, and I started. I'm self-taught. You never stop learning how to program. You get there's something to learn forever.
That's nice, isn't it? Yeah. I mean, as far as an interest factor. I know everybody.
Isn't it, dear?
He's talking to Kim. As far as your show.
No, I was talking to my dog.
Oh, Petey's here too.
Oh, Petey, dear.
His famous dog. You have how long to go with this show?
3 weeks.
3 more weeks.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about the show, Jack.
The show is, we have Pete Barbuti, who's a dear friend of mine, who's a very funny man, who I've known for so many years. And he's hysterical. He's insane. If you know his work, you know how he's just crazy. Plays the piano with his nose and does all kinds of crazy things. And I do a wide variety of music, old songs and contemporary songs, even to Maniac, and which is a surprise for the audience. I have a film that I put together a video and I put it on film so we could project it. And it's kind of a scrapbook of my life. I tell the audience they're going to see an Air Force training film, and it opens with me singing with Bob over in Vietnam, and showing a little bit of that, and it's interesting. Then at the end I bring my dad on, and he does Man of La Mancha, and he just gets a standing ovation every night.
Wow.
It really upsets me. He's great. He's just great.
Oh, I know. He's brilliant.
77 years old, and he's in better shape than I am.
And still got the great tones.
Yeah.
You know, we played, we don't have Love Boat on, but we had it here on Channel 5 for I don't know how long we've been playing that. Just out of curiosity, Jack, I'm not going to get into your financial background, but do you get a residual check every time your voice is heard on Love Boat?
Yeah.
Gee.
And
Over all stations? Is that how they...
Yeah, it's a rerun fee. Had I known, you know, I didn't think it was going to do anything. I didn't think anybody would want to see a series about a cruise ship. And had I known what we know now, I would have asked for a little bit more. But why be greedy? It's a nice, it pays a few bills, and it'll be run, you know, for a long time.
Oh, I'm telling you.
I know it's not on here at the moment, but it'll come back again in another...
Right.
Because it's still a hot show. So those reruns will be...
I know. What about foreign countries?
Yeah, it's all...
They would dub if it's in another language. I can see them changing you know, the actual dialogue, but not your piece.
Hopefully not, no.
If they did, would that change the residual factor, or does it always stay the same? In a foreign country, I mean.
I didn't anticipate that. I don't think that's happening. But that would, if they took my voice off, I guess that would do that. It's interesting, though, that in England, the show didn't make it. No one really cared about it, and I can't figure that out. Yeah, they ran it in the daytime, and then they took it off.
Oh, we got tremendous ratings with that show.
Oh, I know.
Talking about it in Las Vegas, and I know other cities get the same. But, well, anyway, maybe England will figure out where they went wrong. Anyway, Jack, thank you very much for being on the show. It's a great pleasure, and I really hope your stay is a long and successful one at the Dunes, and that I'll look forward to your return. And we'll also
be back in July, too, and then in September we'll come back.
July at the Dunes?
Yeah, second 2 weeks in July.
And
well, the Olympics are on in L.A. We're running up here.
Jack also is running his commercials here on Channel 5. That's he was doing some business here as well. But so we'll be looking forward to the commercials as well, Jack. It's a good spot, real good.
Yeah, good. Glad you like it.
I like the professional ones. Thanks, Jack.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Stay with us. We'll be back with our next guest right after this word.